What's going on? It's
Hey.
Ja'Van and LaRissa Johnson. How you doing today?
They're doing great.
They're doing great.
Everybody's doing great.
That's great because we're doing great. Yes, indeed. So on May 5th, 2019, LaRissa and I celebrated 1 year of marriage.
Woo!
Yeah, and it's been a great year. Your first year of marriage can be great, and God really blessed. And so I think the important thing to keep in mind is to keep Christ first throughout the entire process, leading up to the marriage, and after you get married, to continue to do that.
Absolutely.
And even going into our marriage, we had a lot of conversations about things. And so when you have conversation about things, you can have an understanding of the expectations so that there aren't surprises down the road that could have been avoided, So we knew certain things as far as the way we wanted the household to be ran. We knew as far as like just our morals, things like that. These are things that's very important to get established going into the marriage so that there aren't surprises.
And we had to communicate even more so because we were long distance
Mm-hmm.
before we even got to the marriage. And so
Yes.
you really have to take your time getting to know one another because you can't see each other as often as you would if you were
Yes.
local.
Yes, and I'm so glad she said that. For those who aren't familiar with our story, we were long distance and we met via YouTube and Twitter. And so when we got married, we were coming from two different states. So what it is we both left our respective states and came to a new state. And so I think that's another important thing is being willing to be unselfish, willing to give up things for each other. So being unselfish is very important. Also, communication is important. To have that communication even within the marriage, even if there's something that you would like to do differently, or you just maybe even having maybe difference of opinions, you can have that, but still just do it respectfully. Say, okay, well, this is the way I envision things going. Oh, okay, this is the way I envision things going. Then you come together and then you work something out.
That should be something that you establish up front.
Yes.
That this is how we want to do things. We
Mm-hmm.
need to communicate how our expectations, our desires,
Yes.
our feelings on certain things. Because I think
Yes.
a lot of times, especially in the first year, y'all still really getting used to being married. It's easy to kind of just stuff it all,
Mm-hmm.
down there and just not say anything. But that needs to be something that's established up front to
Mm-hmm.
be open in your communication, be okay with being vulnerable, and also having that trust where you can feel safe expressing those feelings, knowing that the other person isn't gonna go crazy and
Right.
start a hot mess.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's mutual respect. An important thing about marriage is the actual people involved. The two people involved. So you can hear a lot of things about marriage. Like you may read things in books, you may hear things, people may talk to you about it, but you have to realize that marriages, they vary depending on the people. So it's like if you look at a sports team, you can have a sports team that just won a championship, and they can tell you about their season versus a team that maybe was mediocre or maybe average, and their perspectives may be different based on the outcome of their particular season. And so you have to realize a lot of it is just contingent upon what you're bringing to the table. And it goes beyond just, sometimes people will look at, okay, well, you have two people that are educated, you have two people that have, whatever it is that you think is important. But if you have two people that are selfish, it's gonna be difficult. Or if you have one person that's not selfish but another person that is, it still could be issues. And so I think that's a key thing. If you take nothing away from this, as far as first and foremost, keep Christ first. Also look at how unselfish you are. Look at that. Be honest. Okay, how selfish am I? On a scale of 1 to 10, how selfish is my potential spouse on the scale of 1 to 10? Look at these types of things and then talk through those types of things. Because God can still work through those things. He can work things out of you, but it's important to be real about it. And I think another thing is to have fun. Once you get married, this is the person that you wanted to marry. This is the person that you love. I mean, this woman right here is like my dream come true plus more. I mean, she's everything I wanted and more. And so I feel like that, it's so important for us to have fun and to enjoy each other. I mean, it's I feel like sometimes, it can be, people can make stuff deeper than what it is. It's just work together. You may hear a lot of stuff about marriage going into marriage. And then once you actually get into it, you be thinking our marriage is nothing like that. You may hear all this negative stuff, and it doesn't have to be that way. If you was an incoming freshman about to go to college, and you watched the video from somebody who was a grade ahead of you, and they was talking about college, and they was talking about a certain class, and they said they got a D in the class, so that means that everybody will get a D in the class at that particular point. Would you just accept that, or would you be like, no, I don't have to do that? And so I feel like it's the same thing. Just because certain people had issues with stuff doesn't mean you have to have issues with stuff. And so I feel like it's very important for us, to not just to settle, but to really say, okay, I want to do this with a standard of excellence. A lot of people, they'll commit to excellence with their vocation, they'll commit to excellence with the ministry or whatever it is they have before them, and then kind of just let their marriage kind of just be okay, that type of thing. I feel like the marriage, you know, after God, that should be number one. So it's very important.
I think you said a great word, and that is standard. A lot of time, we have standards going into like dating. If you're looking for somebody, you have standards. So you don't just drop all of your standards going into marriage. Like you have a certain standard for your marriage, so that you're not going into it like, well, everybody says that you're supposed to fight, and everybody says that you're supposed to argue and have issues in certain areas in the marriage, and then that's your standard. And so, of course, if you set the bar right here, that's all you're going to reach for. But if you set your bar higher regarding your marriage, and you set that standard to where, you know, that's not how it's going to be in our marriage. It's not how it's going to be in our home. Now you have something to work towards, a higher standard to work towards.
That's right. Amen. The more that you do according to the Bible earlier on, the more you do it, the more you set yourself up for a great foundation. And then from there, you can just keep building upon that. And so, you know, we just wanted to come on here and just say hello, let people know that the first year of marriage can be great.
Amazing.
Exactly. Some people know our story, but if you're watching for the first time, you may not know our history. We both were virgins when we got married as well. And sometimes you may hear about, oh, what's that going to be like? You know, it's been great. I mean, as far as like we learned, absolutely.
All amazing.
We happy. Yes. So, I mean, just because, you know, you wait and all that kind of stuff, people got all this stuff to say. When you do it God's way, God will lead you and guide you.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. So thank you for watching this video. You have a blessed day.
Bye.
Bye.